Shortly after Qin unified the whole realm, the King of Qin issued an order to the Chancellor and the Imperial Secretary. In the past, the King of Han offered land, surrendered his seal, and requested to become a vassal of Qin. Yet before long he broke his promise, formed a vertical alliance with Zhao and Wei to rebel against Qin. Therefore I dispatched troops to conquer Han and captured Qin. I consider this act just, as it might put an end to. The King of Zhao sent his Chancellor Limu to form an alliance with us, so I returned Zhao's hostages. Soon after, Zhao violated the alliance and rebelled in Artaiyan. Thus I sent troops to punish Zhao and captured its king. Prince Jia of Zhao then proclaimed himself King of Dai, so I sent troops to eliminate him. The King of Wei initially promised to submit to Qin, but before long he conspired with Han and Zhao to attack Qin. Our generals went to punish them, and defeated them. The King of Chu ceded the land west of Qingyang, but soon broke his promise and attacked our Nanjun. Hence, I sent troops to punish Chu, captured its king, and finally pacified Chu's territory. The King of Yan was muddle-headed and rebellious. His crown Prince Dan secretly sent Jingga as an assassin. I dispatched generals to punish them and destroyed Yan. The King of Qi, adopting Gu Sheng's scheme, cut off relations with Qin and plotted rebellion. I sent generals to punish him, captured him, and pacified Qi's territory. Though I am a humble man, I sent troops to conquer the rebellious states. Relying on the divine might of my ancestors, the kings of the 6 states have admitted guilt and submitted to punishment, and the whole world has been completely pacified. If I do not change my title, I cannot glorify the achievements I have made and pass them down to posterity. Let all ministers deliberate on the title of emperor. The imperial secretary Feng Ji, the court minister Li Si, and others said, in ancient times, the 5 emperors ruled over a territory of only 1,000 li. Whether the vassals in the outer Fu vassal enclave and if you, barbarian enclave regions, came to pay tribute or not was beyond emperor's control. Now your majesty has dispatched a righteous army, executed rebellious ministers and traitors, and unified the world. All territories have been established as commander Yes, and decrees are issued solely by your majesty. Such a feat has never been seen since ancient times, and even the 5 emperors cannot compare to you. We have carefully consulted with the scholars and learned. In ancient times, there were the heavenly emperor, the earthly emperor, and the Tai emperor, with the Tai emperor being the most revered. We dare to present this title with our lives. May your majesty be called Tai Huang, supreme emperor, your edicts be called Shi imperial decrees, your orders be called Zhao imperial edicts, and you shall refer to yourself as Zhen, the royal. The King of Qin said, remove Tai Ti Huang, and adopt the ancient title the emperor, so the title shall be Huang the emperor. All other matters shall be handled as the ministers have discussed. He issued an imperial decree. It is approved. The first emperor posthumously honored King Zhuangxiang as emperor, Shen Grand Emperor. He issued another decree. I have heard that in ancient times, rulers had titles but no posthumous titles. In the Middle Ages, they had titles and posthumous titles were conferred based on their deeds after death. This is like sons judging their fathers and ministers judging their rulers, which is meaningless. I will not adopt this practice. From now on, the system of conferring posthumous titles is abolished. I am the first emperor Shi Huangdi, and future generations shall be numbered sequentially 2nd emperor, 3rd emperor, and so on up to the 10,000th emperor, passing the throne down forever. The first emperor deduced the sequence of the 5 virtues, cycles, believing that the Zhou dynasty had obtained the fire virtue, and the Qin dynasty, which had replaced Zhou, should inaugurate the water virtue as water conquers fire. He changed the first month of the year, stipulating that officials should pay their New Year respects on the first day of the 10th lunar month. Black became the revered color for clothing, banners, and tally. The number 6 was adopted as the standard. Tiger, tally S and legal caps were 6 inches long, carriages were 6 feet wide, a pace was 6 feet, and carriages were drawn by 6 horses. The Yellow River was renamed Dishui Virtue River to mark the beginning of the water virtue. The first emperor was resolute and steadfast, yet tyrannical and harsh. He resolved all matters through laws, showing no kindness or morality, believing this to be in line with the order of the 5 virtues cycles. Thus, he enforced laws rigorously, and some criminals were imprisoned for a long time without part. The Chancellor Wang Wan and others memorialized. The vassals have just been eliminated, and regions such as Yan, Qi, and Chu are extremely remote. If we do not enfay off vassal kings there, we cannot stabilize the local people. We request that your majesty enfay off your sons as kings. We hope your majesty will approve. The first emperor referred their proposal to the ministers for discussion, and all agreed it was appropriate. The court minister Li Si remonstrated. King Wen and King Wu of Zhuanfi fed numerous kinsmen, but as generations passed, the blood ties grew distant. They attacked each other like enemies, waging wars without restraint, and the Zhupings could not stop them. Now, relying on your majesty's divine might, the whole world has been unified and established as Commander IES. Your sons and meritorious ministers can be generously rewarded with state taxes, and this situation is easy to control. The people will have no divided loyalties. This is the way to stabilize the state. And fei-offing vassals is inappropriate. The first emperor said, the people under heaven suffer from endless wars precisely because of the vassals. Relying on the blessing of my ancestors, I have just pacified the world. If I establish vassal states again, I will be creating enemies for myself. How can peace be achieved? The court minister's suggestion is correct. The first emperor divided the whole country into 36 commander IS, each governed by a governor Shu, a military commander Wei, and an inspector Jian. He renamed the common people King Shi black-headed people. He ordered a nation-wide feast to celebrate. He collected all weapons across the realm, gathered them in Xianyang, melted them down to cast sets of 1,012 metal statues, each weighing 1,000 dan, which were placed in the pouch. The first emperor unified the legal system, weights and measures, axle widths, unwritten characters. The territory of Qin extended east to the sea in Chaoxiang, west to Lintao and Qianzhong, south to the region where houses had north-facing windows, and north to the Yellow River as a barrier, stretching from Yinshan Mountain to Liaodong. He relocated 120,000 wealthy households to Xianyang. The ancestral temples of Qin's previous kings, Shangtai Palace and Shenglin Garden, were all south of the Wei River. Each time Qin conquered a vassal state, it would replicate that state's palaces on the northern slopes of Xianyang, south-facing the Wei River. From Yangmen east to the confluence of the Jing and Wei rivers, the palaces were connected by elevated corridors and enclosed walkways. The beautiful women and musical instruments plundered from the vassal states were all housed here. 7th year 220 BCE. The first emperor toured Long Xian Bei commander IES, reached Jitu Mountain, and passed through Huizang. He ordered the construction of Chang'ai En Palace south of the Wei River, which was soon renamed Jimmy Temple, symbolizing the North Star in the sky. A road was built from Jimmy Temple to Lishan Mountain, and the front hall of Jianquan Palace was constructed. Covered passages were built to connect Xianyang with these palaces. In the same year, the first emperor granted one rank of nobility to all people in the realm and ordered the construction of imperial highways Kaidao. In the 28th year 219 BCE, the first emperor toured the eastern commander IS. He climbed Youyi Mountain, erected a stone cell, and consulted with the Confucian scholars of Lu Commandery on inscribing texts praising Qin's merits. They also discussed the Fengyanshan ceremonies, imperial sacrifices to heaven and earth, and the worship of famous mountains and great rivers. Then he climbed Mount Tai, erected a stone stele, piled up earth to form an altar, and offered sacrifices to heaven. When descending the mountain, he was caught in a sudden storm and took shelter under a tree, which he then fed as the fifth-rank noble Wudafu. He offered sacrifices to earth at Mount Lianfu. The inscription on the erected stele read, "When the emperor ascended the throne, he established systems and enforced strict laws. His ministers served with solemn diligence. In the 26th year, he unified the realm, and none dared resist. He inspected the distant people, climbed Mount Tai, and surveyed the eastern frontier. His accompanying ministers recalled the past, explored the origins of his cause, and reverently praised his merit. The emperor governs with wisdom, all productions are properly arranged, all affairs follow regulation. His great justice and virtue are clear, serving as a model for posterity to uphold forever. The emperor is wise and enlightened, though he has pacified the world. He never slackens in governance. He rises early, undressed late, planning for the state's long-term good, with special emphasis on education. His decrees are clear, bringing order to all regions in accordance with his will. Ranks are distinct, men and women observe their roles, and all diligently fulfill their duties. Inner and outer spheres are separated, all are pure and tranquil, and his grace extends to future generations. His teachings reach infinitely far, all observe his edicts and abide by his solemn instructions. The first emperor then traveled east along the Bohai Sea, passing Huan County and Kuo County, reaching the tip of Sihengshan. He climbed Sihefu Mountain, erected a stele praising Qin's merits, and departed. Traveling south, he climbed Lanya Mountain, which he admired greatly and where he stayed for 3 months. He relocated 30,000 Qiangshu to the foot of Lanya Eris, exempting them from taxes and labor for 12 years. He ordered the construction of Lanya Eris and directed a stone stele to sing the praises of Qin's achievements and declare his aspirations. The inscription read, "In the 28th year, the emperor has just ascended the throne. He formulated fair laws and rectified the principles of all things. Thus, human relations are clarified. and fathers and sons work in harmony. The emperor is sage and benevolent, understanding the principles of all things. He pacified the eastern regions and inspected his troops here. Having completed his tour, he came to the seashore. The emperor's merits are outstanding, and he toils for state affairs. He promotes agriculture and restrains commerce, enabling the people to live in prosperity. The whole nation is united, following him with one heart. He unified weights, measures, unwritten character. Where the sun and moon shine, where carriages and boats reach, all obey his orders without dissent. Affairs are handled at the right time. He reformed corrupt customs, traveling across thousands of mountains and rivers. He cares for the people, toiling day and night without rest. He dispelled doubts and established laws, so all observe discipline. Governors perform their duties collaborative, and government affairs are simple and manageable. Measures are properly taken, and all are standardized. The emperor is divine and great, perceiving all under heaven. Noble and humble are distinguished, and ranks must not be transgressed. Evil is eliminated, and the people are urged to be virtuous. All strive in great and small tasks, daring not to be negligent. Near and far, even remote places, all are solemn and respectful, with the pride and sincere virtues, abiding by the rules. The emperor's grace is boundless, protecting and stabilizing all lands. He eliminates harm and punishes rebellion, promoting benefits and blessing the people. He acts in accordance with the seasons, developing all industry. The Qiangshu live in peace and harmony, and wars cease. The 6 kinships are at peace, and there are no more bandits. People gladly accept Zhao and understand the legal system. Within the 4 seas, all are the emperor's territory. West to the deserts, south to the land of north-facing windows, east to the eastern sea, north beyond Taiyan. Wherever human footsteps reach, all submit in elite. The emperor's merits surpass the 5 emperors, and his grace extends to none are untouched by his virtue, and all live in peace. After the king of Qin unified the realm and assumed the title of emperor, he toured the eastern territories and arrived at Langya Commandery. Accompanying him were Marquis of Wucheng Wang Li, Marquis of Tong Wu Wang Ben, Viscount of Jiancheng Zhao Hai, Viscount of Wuxi Enfeng Double, Yu Zihi, Chancellor Kui Lin, Chancellor Wang Guan, Minister Li Si, Minister Wang Wu, 5th rank noble Xiao Ying, and 5th rank noble Yang. They deliberated with the emperor by the sea, saying, in ancient times, those who called themselves emperors ruled no more than 1,000 li. Vassals guarded their own peace, some paying tribute and others not. They invaded each other, rebelled against their superiors, harmed the people, and waged endless wars, yet they still erected steles to record their deeds. The ancient 5 emperors and 3 kings practiced different teachings and issued unclear laws. They relied on the power of ghosts and spirits to deceive the distant people, their fame not matching their reality, so their reigns did not last long. Before these emperors died, the vassals had already rebelled, and their decrees became ineffective. Now your majesty has unified the 4 seas as commander IES, and the world is peaceful and stable. You have carried forward your ancestors' virtues, practiced the correct way, and promoted virtue, perfecting the imperial title. We, your ministers, jointly praise your merits and inscribe them on metal and stone as a model for posterity. Sifu and others from Qi Commandery submitted a memorial, stating that there were 3 divine mountains in the sea Penglai, Fengshan, and Yinshu where immortals resided. They requested to fast and bait, then lead boys and girls to seek the divine mountain. The first emperor then sent Sifu to select several thousand boys and girls and send them into the sea to search for the immortal. On his way back, the first emperor passed Peking. He fasted and offered sacrifices there, hoping to retrieve the 9 cauldrons of the Zhou dynasty from the Sea River. He sent over 1,000 people to dive into the water to search, but they found nothing. He then traveled southwest across the Hui River to Hengshan and Nanzheng Commander IS. Sailing down the Yangtze River, he offered sacrifices at Shigensen Mountain. A violent storm arose, nearly preventing him from crossing the river. The first emperor asked the scholars, "Who is the god of Shigensen?" "I have heard that the god of Shigensen is the daughter of Yaowen, the wife of Shen, who was buried here after her." Enraged, the first emperor ordered 3,000 convicts to cut down all trees on Shigensen Mountain, exposing the reddish-brown bedrock. He then returned to the capital from Nanzheng via Guguan Pass.